Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
Pull it out of your pants, and there you go. You're playing.
Switch on and switch off. Oh, sorry. I'll go back to my hole.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I'm just so used to barfing right now.
I really don't see Apple ever doing that. I am Adela.
I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech and games this week, because
yeah.
there was maybe an announcement or two.
It's a couple.
So, we're going to get into this. We'll get to the gaming probably a little bit later, but we have a couple things that we do want to talk about. Like, number one, dear listener, if you've had a USB printer that's been working for you flawlessly on your Windows 10 machine, and recently it's not, there was an update that just came out that Microsoft said that they will fix the issue.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so certain printers may be unable to print after installing the KB4557957. That is what they're calling it for any kind of your Windows update for your USB printer. What may happen is the print spooler may error and close unexpectedly when attempting to print, and no output will come from the affected printer. And you might also encounter issues with the apps you are attempting to print from. You may receive an error from the app, or the app may just close unexpectedly. So this issue is also affecting not just the printers, but it is a software-based issue. And so if you're trying to print anything, they were giving examples of like PDFs or anything, this can happen. So they did post out saying on this past week on their Patch Tuesday that they will try and release through their updates to improve the security and all the external devices such as printers to fix the problem.
Well, that's fun.
So
Yes,
does this affect a printer that's connected over Wi-Fi? Or just over USB?
No, they said USB, external USB.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So somewhere in there was some error code or anything in this patch that...
So is it like a driver issue?
I think so. The notes that I pulled from this was coming from Microsoft. What they were saying happens, the unexpected attempt to print with no output, things like that, that came from them, and they are going to be releasing an update as soon as they can.
Well, so if you have your printer plugged in via USB to your Mac and then shared via the Bonjour protocol on your network, then that'll still work just fine. So
I'm assuming so. I have not tested that out. But
that's the obvious solution if you need your printer right now, is go buy a Mac.
True. That's a very expensive solution, but...
I guess the other obvious solution is put whatever it is you're trying to print onto like a USB drive or something like that, and then take it somewhere else where somebody hasn't updated Windows. Or if you're trying to social distance, you want to avoid that sort of thing, you can download an install of Linux, put it onto another USB drive, boot off of that USB drive on your computer, plug the other one in, and then print the file through Linux instead of Windows. There's your workaround.
By the time you're done with that, the update may be available, and
it may be
your problem.
Very, very possibly.
So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, dear listener, in case your printer is not working correctly. There will be an update. So let's move on to Caleb's favorite application from Microsoft, Microsoft Teams.
Yes. Yes. It's the most wonderful thing ever.
Well, I did want to bring this up. I know there's a lot of people that use Teams for their video chatting. Obviously, one thing that I really thought was cool, and I don't know if others can, so if others can, sweet, and I'm just late to this, but they are now releasing saying you can have any kind of background you want. So, without it putting up a green screen, if you will. So you can have like there's a couple photos of here that they had like the Simpsons home and the couch in the background, and or you can have like stars in the background, or but they also said it is custom, so you can put your own backgrounds behind you while you're talking, which I'm like, that sounds productive. So
yeah.
I thought it was cool, but also anyone that's doing the free version of Teams, you can now schedule meetings in advance and have live captions. I don't know how well they are, but there you go. You can have that. So
Yeah, I got to say the custom backgrounds thing has made every Zoom call that I've been on pretty interesting. Because that's basically the first 10 minutes of every call is all like, oh, so what's that a picture of? And you just go through everybody in the meeting. And
so this feature is just to catch up with the Joneses type.
Well, it's Zoom. I know Zoom does it. I'm not sure about any of the other applications that are being used there, but I do know Zoom does it.
Gotcha.
As far as I know, Zoom is the only one. Google Meet does not do that.
Gotcha. Well, now Teams does, so yay! Well, that's all the news that really want to talk about this week. So let's go ahead and let's move on to Landon. Landon, do you have any kind of news for us this week that's not gaming?
I do. I do have news that is not gaming. This past week on Wednesday, I believe it was, the Android 11 beta was released without any fanfare or nothing. So initially, this was supposed to be released at Google I/O, and that got canceled. And then it was going to be released with a Android 11 beta launch show, and that got canceled. And then it was just, oh, here it is. Which is fine, because, I mean, we don't really need these big fancy keynotes in most cases anymore. All it really is a big infomercial for different things that most people aren't going to care about.
Yes, I feel like I need 3 or 4 ads, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Here's the new iPhone. Here's the 3 ads that we're making for it. You're done. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, maybe a blog post or something with some extra details that we care about. But other than that, it's just a lot of money you're spending. But
interesting.
I mean, once I found out that this was available, I went and downloaded it onto my phone because that's who I am. So some new things that came with this beta, other than like the stuff that we've talked about, there are now app suggestions for the bottom row on the home screen. So basically your dock of apps that are set there, that don't change when you go between home screens. Those can now, or you can actually have it so like your most popular apps that you use will be set there and then change periodically throughout the day depending on how you use your phone. It's very similar to when you swipe up for the app drawer. The very top row of those apps is this same thing. It kind of tries to figure out how you use your phone and what apps you use at certain times of the day and gives you suggestions on what you might want to use. This will do that on your home screen. I very quickly said, nope. Because I have the apps there for a reason. Because I want them there all the time.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting. It made sense in the app drawer to have that way. Because if it's an app you don't use a ton, but you still use it every now and then, having it right there at the top when you need it is kind of nice instead of having to scroll and try and find it and everything. But having all the apps on your home screen change like that, I'm not a big fan of.
I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a home screen. If that's what you're going to do, you may as well just make the app drawer the home screen. And
then we're going back, going into the iPhone territory.
I was going to say, and then you have an iPhone where the icons just randomly rearrange themselves. And that sounds like a nightmare.
It really does. It really does. So yeah, I turned that off, and it was like right when I booted up my phone with Android 11, there's a notification with, hey, here's some new tips. And I click on it, and that is big blue, like half circle on the bottom things like AI-powered apps on your home screen. I'm like, no. Move on. Go
Please
away.
don't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, try it out. I'm not going to. Not even going to try it. Not worth it. All right. Another new thing is playback controls are now in the quick settings tile section. When you scroll down your notification shade, it's got your quick settings right there. If you have something playing in the background, like a podcast or Spotify or YouTube Music or videos or something like that, it has controls right there at the top. And what this does is it shoves all of your first quick setting tiles to one side and shrinks them down, and then has your playback controls on the other side. And then when you scroll all the way down, it brings that full control panel for music and whatnot there. And one cool feature that is also there when you scroll all the way down with that is there's in the top right corner, there's like a little circular rectangle thing there, and you click on it and you can very quickly switch between your output device. So if you're playing on your phone speaker, it'll say phone speaker. You click on it and you can very easily switch to a Bluetooth speaker, some headphones, whatever. That's just right there. Without especially like headphones or a Bluetooth speaker, you don't have to go into Bluetooth settings and switch it that way. It's a pain in the butt. It's just quick, one touch, very easy, pretty handy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, if like say you have like a Chromecast or something that you want to take it to, or if you want to switch to a Google Home or a Bluetooth speaker or your sound system or something, you can just very easily with 2 clicks on the screen do it right there. Very nice, very handy.
You have a home and a Chromecast, don't you?
Well, I had a Chromecast, so I had a first generation Chromecast, and in the moving process that I went through recently, it kind of got hurt.
Oh.
Meaning,
Oops.
we had our TV laid down, and I forgot to take the Chromecast out of the TV, and we went to slide the TV off of a towel that it was on the table, and the Chromecast got stuck somehow and totally bent. And the HDMI part of it was fine. It's just the part attached to the HDMI port was not. So we currently don't have a Chromecast anymore.
I guess the reason why I asked, I was going to say, you probably have tested that out because I thought you had both, and so how easy that would have been to switch like that. But
I mean, I haven't fully tested that out yet. But I do have Bluetooth headphones, a Bluetooth speaker that I'm connected to, and then the Google Home. So I will test it out a little bit more. But from the videos I've seen and just the interface, it's got to be really easy to use.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And it's funny because like this, when you scroll down and you're looking at the controls and stuff like that, it's very similar to Control Center on an iPhone with audio controls in there. Like it almost looks identical. It's just got, so the small square when you first scroll down to your notification shade, it's just got play, like a play pause button, and then next and previous buttons, just like on an iPhone. And then when you scroll down further, that's when you get a few more settings and different things. Very similar to an iPhone, as Caleb is showing Wes right now.
And you get that, and then you tap on this little circle up there, and it shows you the devices that are available for playback.
Yep.
And you know what?
That's
as you were describing
really cool.
it, I was sitting here thinking to myself, boy, this sounds awfully familiar. So
that's because it is.
It is really super handy, gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, I've used it on my wife's iPhone, and yes, very handy. So I like it.
That is really cool. I think that's a feature I'd actually use quite a bit if my Razer phone will update with it.
You have a Pixel 2.
This is true, but like you, I also moved, but I haven't unpacked all my boxes and I can't find it. I have found all my other phones, all my old Windows phones, all my old stuff, but that one the other day I was like, I need to pull this out and mess with it, but of course can't find it.
Nice.
So
That's
yes,
fine.
I do, but I'll have to find it.
Yeah. All right. Another thing that has been updated is inside of the power menu. So if you long press the power button, one thing they changed recently that was just on Android in general was it gave you different access to cards inside of Google Pay. so you could switch your cards a lot easier if you didn't want to use your default to pay. Now, it also gives you smart home controls. So, if I do mine, I can easily access my Nest thermostat or also my Roku TV. I can do controls on those, which is kind of handy, I guess. If you had more smart home devices, that's probably where it would come in handy. Say, like light bulbs, especially. If you have smart light bulbs, you can access them through that, not having to go into the Google Home app or go into your your different smart home apps or whatnot. It's just right in there, and you can, like with lights, you can adjust the lighting or different things like that right from there, which is kind of handy. For me, it's not super useful because, again, I just have the two things. Maybe it's somewhat useful to get into my Nest stuff. I guess, yeah, that is kind of easy. But it's not a big deal for me because I don't have a ton of smart home devices yet.
So that was just pushing and holding the power button?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. Now, the phones that will be getting this beta that are not Pixel phones, there's been a few announced, and you probably don't have them, listener, because none of the popular phones, other than the OnePlus phones, are getting it. But even then, you probably don't have one. But I'm just going to go through and read some of these phones. So the Oppo Find X2 series will be getting the Android beta. The Realme X50 Pro, the Xiaomi Mi 10 and Mi 10 Pro, the Poco F2, and then again, all of the OnePlus devices. So, like I said, you probably don't have any of these phones. But if you do, the beta will be, if not already, is available. And if you have a Pixel, obviously it is available. And if you want to try it out, in my experience so far, it is pretty stable. I haven't had any issues that I've noticed other than user error trying to figure out different little things. Like one thing that I thought was a bug that I was just doing it slightly wrong is on the home screen. In Android 10, you could swipe up from anywhere just a little bit, and it would pull up your recent apps. Now, if you swipe up from anywhere on the home screen, it'll only bring up your app drawer, which I was like, well, that's annoying because I used that feature all the time. The thing is, if you're on the home screen, you have to swipe up from the bottom of the screen, basically, and then just do a little one to bring up your recent apps, kind of how it is if you're inside of an app. So it's just a minor tweak, which I've gotten used to it now, but initially that I was like, that's stupid and kind of annoying.
Right. Yeah.
But now that I'm used to it, it's fine. It's just I have to reach further down the screen to do it. Not a big deal, but, you know.
I kind of hate when they change stuff just for the sake of changing it. Like,
right?
Was there a reason for that, or you just trying to mess with me?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, another thing that I was going to mention. Inside of that recents page, it's got a few extra features. So there's now a screenshot button inside there. It'll take a screenshot of the app that you have pulled up in your recents menu. And then also there's a share button, which will automatically take a screenshot and give you options to share it. So if you want to save one click, you can do that. I don't know what the point of having both of those there is, but it's there. And the screenshot menu thing has changed a little bit. Now just when you take a screenshot, instead of putting a little notification up at the top and doing your stuff from there, it puts a small picture of the screenshot on the bottom corner and puts a share button or an edit button right next to it. It's kind of interesting. It's basically the same thing, just kind of moved where it is.
Right.
And it's a little smaller and less obtrusive, I guess you could say. So that's all the new features that are here with the Android 11 beta. I'm still, like I said, I'm getting used to it. It's not buggy at all that I've noticed. It's quite nice, easy to use. So, but this, I mean, there's not a ton of major updates in this update that I've noticed, which is fine. They're just fixing things in the back end and just kind of polishing things, I guess you could say. And that's kind of where, I mean, that's where Android and iOS are at this point. Most things just need polishing. There's nothing major that we need anymore, in my opinion. There's going to be things that they announce that are going to be beneficial and nice. But as far as major changes, I think we're mostly set. I mean, how do you feel, Caleb?
I mean, we have essentially gotten to the point where we're, if you ignore the visual design aside, we are mimicking the functionality of the Star Trek The Next Generation computer interfaces on the Enterprise, which is exactly what I've been wanting ever since I was a small child anyways, where you basically just everything is a flat tablet screen and you interact with a piece of glass that changes what it's displaying and what the interface looks like based on what you're trying to do. We have honed that to a fine sheen in like basically every facet on smartphones. And I think that the next thing, the next big change is going to necessitate a massive change in the way we interact with the interface.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be like hologram projectors, or it's going to be virtual reality or augmented reality or something like that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And until then, yeah, we're pretty much set on on all the features and stuff. It works pretty well.
Yes, I agree. Okay, that is all my Android news. Some general tech news that I have. The Photoshop camera app is now available to download and out of beta on Android. I'm assuming on iOS as well. Is this on?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
I did download it and I did test it a little bit. It's basically just another filter app, like heavily filtered. Like, awful.
Yep.
Like, I don't know why anybody would want to use most of these filters. Now, on the editing side, there are some decent editing tools inside of this app, but I don't think it's anything more than what you can get even inside of like Google Photos or Apple Photos or any of your other editing, like photo editing apps that are already on your phone. So to me, there's really no point in downloading this, in my opinion. The one benefit is if you use Adobe's like cloud storage feature, it'll automatically back up your photos to that. But I want to say you can do that other ways too with your regular camera apps.
Probably, yeah.
So still, to me, there's no reason to download this. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to try it and test out some crazy 80s design style coloring and filters, then go for it. Because that's what it reminded me of. Also, it kind of reminded me of when I first got my MacBook and I opened up the iSight app and they had filters on there. It's very similar to those filters.
Yeah, Photo Booth.
Yeah, yes.
Oh
That's
my
what it
gosh,
was.
does Photo Booth still ship with, hold on.
I believe so.
It is still there.
Yep.
I am checking right now.
And it hasn't changed in 10 years.
Let's look at the effects that are available to me.
He's looking now.
Space alien, nose twirl.
This is great
Chipmunk.
audio.
Some of these have fantastic names. The fake thermal camera one, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about now that you've compared it to Photo Booth.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any experience with Photo Booth on a Mac, download this
Or
app.
an iPad.
Or an iPad. Download this Photoshop camera app and you will, see some very familiar things.
Well, now I'm kind of interested.
I mean, not all of the things are there, but the filter-wise, it's awfully similar.
Yeah.
So, but that's all my tech news for this week.
That's awesome. That's pretty good news. All right, Caleb, what do you have for us, buddy?
I have got not much. So it's been 3 weeks since I've, said anything. And during that time, all that Apple has done is announce the official date and time for the WWDC keynote. So that's going to be June 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Sweet.
So there you go. Once that happens, I will have lots of details about the next operating systems that Apple is going to have, and rumored a new Mac, which is probably going to be a refreshed iMacs, please, because for the love of all that is holy, Apple, come on. But yeah, it really is just, it has been incredibly slow for news for, obvious reasons. And a lot of these companies that have not been saying a whole lot over the past few weeks have been releasing statements like, we kind of feel like what we were going to say kind of isn't really in the spirit of what needs to be said right now. And so we're just going to wait, let other people talk. And that was a good call, probably.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's fair. So as a result, we don't necessarily have a ton of news, and that's okay.
Well, fair enough. Well, shall we dive into this gaming news that's been released this week?
Oh, heck yes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have Caleb start us off because I think he's got maybe one or two things he wants to get off his chest there.
Okay, so yes, Sony had a PlayStation 5 reveal event, and can I just say this is how you do a launch event for a console. I'm not necessarily disparaging Microsoft with their Xbox One Series X launch event. See, I almost called it an Xbox One X. This is but it wasn't as good. Anyways, to be fair to them, I actually didn't watch their event. I just know that a lot of people were whining about various things, and way fewer people are whining about the PlayStation event. But instead of doing that, they are memeing the physical design of the PlayStation 5 itself. So, listener, if you have not already seen this, you need to go Google PlayStation 5 just memes and see some of the mock-ups and stuff that have been done. Some people are like reimagining the design of this thing, which is great. Other people are putting the Eye of Sauron between it and turning it into lapels and collars and stuff like that. It's a really interesting world right now for the PlayStation crowd. But yeah, so that's kind of the big news on the console front itself. We actually know what the thing looks like now. There weren't necessarily any big revelations about the performance or the hardware because they did their whole technical reveal like a month and a half ago, and that's all still true. And that was, they didn't have anything else to add. So now we just know what it looks like. So you can go Google that, or I don't know, maybe Landon will put a picture of it in the show notes or something like that. It's a unique design. I think we all agree. It definitely stands out. And it'll stand out in your entertainment center as well, which if your entertainment center is themed heavily around the color white is going to be great. It'll look good. It'll fit really well. If it's not, then, well, hopefully D-Brand is going to make a skin for it or something like that.
It's got the black middle.
It does have the black middle, yes.
They want
like
it to
a
be
PlayStation 2 with
I was
going
to say
going like this.
They want it to be, if you have a white themed entertainment center, it'll look like a PlayStation 2 kind of floating there.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
There you go.
That's it. I've seen mock-ups of this thing. I was talking before the podcast. I've seen mock-ups of this thing with black wings instead of white wings and still having the blue accent lights and stuff like that on it. It looks like something straight out of Tron Legacy. And I got to say, if they release that console, dope. Yeah. Like, I'm fully on board with that one. I've also seen it compared to an Alienware desktop. So, listener, if you want, you can, or if you're familiar with what Alienware kind of designs their computers around, it does kind of look like that. It is a very different style and not just a black box, kind of like, like the last generation consoles were just basically black boxes. That Xbox Series X is basically a black box. This is not that. So they're going back a little bit more to the PlayStation 3 design trends and just going for something unique. There are going to be two versions of this thing. much like the Xbox One S, there will be just a regular version of it with a disk drive, and then an all-digital version without a disk drive. I assume that the all-digital version will be cheaper, but they have not said anything about the pricing on this console yet. It kind of seems like they're waiting for Microsoft to shoot first before they say anything. We'll see who manages to play that game of chicken longer and undercut the other on price, but remains to be seen whether or not the digital version will actually be worth getting, because if it's only like $50 less, then I would say just get the regular one, because finally the Blu-ray player on this thing is a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Like, for the love, the fact that wasn't in the PS4 Pro still pisses me off. But yeah, so that's kind of all the big news. That's really all we know about it. We also know that it's going to be backwards compatible with the PS4 and PS4 Pro games, and they're going to focus on porting the newer or the more popular games first, which, you know, means the only games I have are Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, and I'd imagine those are probably be ready to go on launch day.
That's good news for you. You don't have to buy them again.
Yes, I'm totally not buying it on launch day, but it is good news. I'm waiting for the black one to come out. So yeah, that's basically it on the console itself. So this was like an hour and 15-minute event, and we got like maybe 5 minutes on the console. The rest of it was game introductions. And so this is not necessarily the launch list of games that'll be available with this thing when it launches. Some of them will be, for sure. A lot of them are slated to come out in like January or February of 2021. That's where most of these will be coming out. And then there's a few big ticket items where the release date was not actually announced, but the game itself is just like, here it is, it's coming, you know, whenever. So what I have done, listener, to kind of palletize this a little bit more effectively for you, is I have just written up basically a sentence for every single game that they announced in this, and I'm just going to go ahead real quick and read through all of them. So this is your summary of the entire game announcement from the PS5 reveal event. So first of all, GTA 5 Enhanced is coming and proves that Rockstar can Skyrim about as well as Bethesda can. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a standalone game, but not a sequel to Marvel's Spider-Man for the PS4 somehow. I'm not sure how that works out, but okay. Gran Turismo 7 looks an awful lot like Gran Turismo 2, except way better, obviously. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart includes these cool Rift mechanics that seem to indicate that the load times that they have been bragging about on the PlayStation are actually pretty legitimately insane. Project Athia, or Athia, I don't really know, from Square Enix is a PS5 exclusive and clearly wants to be Final Fantasy, but like actual fantasy this time instead of sci-fi. Stray is a Robot City stray cat simulator.
Yes, Landon, that's what it is.
There was a cute kitty cat, and everybody went crazy. Returnal is literally a third-person action game version of a Star Trek episode that I have seen. Sackboy, quote, a big adventure, is a 4-player co-op now, so that's neat. Destruction All-Stars is a destruction racer, like arena racer kind of thing with a ton of style. Kena Bridge of Spirits looks like a real-time rendered Pixar version of a Zelda game and is the real answer for when someone claims Breath of the Wild proves that the Switch's hardware is, quote, good enough. Because let's be honest, it's not. And if the hardware was better, the game would look better. Goodbye Volcano High is basically Life is Strange, but with dinosaurs or something. I don't know, weird creatures instead of normal teenagers. Oddworld Soulstorm is an unexpectedly pretty Oddworld game. So if you're familiar with the Oddworld franchise, this is the latest. Ghostwire Tokyo places you as a demon hunter in quote Japanese horror film The Game, but is still cheaper than actually visiting Tokyo, so probably worth picking up. Jet the Far Shore is a species-saving sci-fi exploration game that I'm also pretty sure I've seen in an episode of Star Trek. Godfall is a 3D deity beat-em-up or dueler. I wasn't really sure based on what they showed which of those it was, but either or. Solar Ash is, well, honestly, I have no idea, but it looks gorgeous. Hitman 3 is a Hitman game, which, is a sequel to Hitman 2 and 1.
Yeah.
I imagine just more of the same there, except better, bigger, and with better lighting and whatever. Astro's Playroom is a kids' arcade game, I guess. The Little Devil Inside is, again, I have no idea, but it sure as heck is going to be different. NBA 2K21 is... moving on. Bugsnax is from the creators of Octodad, so it's going to be weird. Just, it will be weird. And beyond that, I really can't tell you. These were teasers for the most part. Demon Souls is basically a Dark Souls clone for folks who don't realize that it's a remake of the prequel to Dark Souls. Just, I saw a lot of that. People are all like, hey, Demon Souls looks an awful lot like it's just Dark Souls. And I'm all like, it's literally the prequel to Dark Souls. Like, guys, come on. Deathloop is a rivals assassin is the story of rival assassins stuck in a time loop, and unless I miss my guess, is going to be the multiplayer game that ends the most friendships since Mario Kart. Resident Evil 8 Village is a whole lot of Resi 7 mixed with some Resi 4 and also a few additional helpings of Nope. Pragmata is a game. I have no freaking idea what it's about or what you're trying to do, but interestingly enough, I actually want to know. Horizon Forbidden West is the game that will sell me a PlayStation 5 and is also set in California instead of Utah this time. So that's different. And that's all of them. So out of all of those, the only one that I can recall off the top of my head that did not have a firm release date of sometime in the early parts of 2021 is Horizon Forbidden West. They were basically just saying, look, we're working on the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. It's coming eventually, but who knows when exactly, probably 2022 or possibly even 2023. That's it. That's basically the entire event. My big takeaway from the whole thing, from watching all of these game trailers and stuff, because after the first, couple of minutes, they're all like, everything that you're going to see from all these games from here on out was captured on a PlayStation 5. So you got to see a pretty good idea of what the actual rendering capabilities of the device were. And my big takeaway is that the simulations enabled by a high-end desktop CPU and the lighting enabled by the RDNA 2 ray tracing technology is what the next generation of consoles is really going to be about. They're going to look prettier and be more realistic than any console game could be before. And it's to the point now where gamers or game developers can target that. For both the Xbox and the PS5, they can target this, we know you have a high-end 8-core CPU and you have a graphics card that is capable of ray tracing. They can target that, which means that the console versions of next-gen games are going to be better than the PC versions, because the developers making games for PC gamers aren't going to be able to assume that, because so many people are still running old, 4th gen, 5th or 6th gen, 7th gen quad-core Intel CPUs with, the 10 series or the 9 series or the 7 series NVIDIA graphics cards that aren't capable of ray tracing. That is the vast majority of gamers are sitting in that, of PC gamers are sitting in that boat right now. So unless they all decide to upgrade in the next year, then the next generation of console games are going to be better on console than they will be on PC. And that's a weird place to live. It's a very strange thing. I still think that PC gaming is awesome and has a place, because, my entire back catalog of games from 1989 on still works on my PC, and that's pretty awesome. But there is definitely something to be said for the fact that, I said Horizon Forbidden West is going to sell me a PS5. I don't think I'm even going to be upset about that, because that game is going to be amazing on that console. Just Horizon Zero Dawn was an amazing game. regardless of the weakness of the PS4 Pro versus a high-end gaming PC or something like that. But the fact of the matter is now that next generation of consoles is basically like getting a high-end gaming PC, except for at a fraction of the cost. So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
I agree. I think it's pretty cool. I like the world that we're living in, this gaming world.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bummer because, on PC, I don't have to pay a fee in order to have multiplayer and so on and so forth. Like, there are still all of these advantages to being a PC gamer, but suddenly having the best of the best isn't one of them. Like, yes, sure, you can get a better gaming experience if you upgrade to a 12-core or a 16-core CPU, or I guess 10-core on the Intel side of things, and you update to the 2080 Ti, the RTX 2080 Ti. Like, that's gonna be a better gaming experience than the new consoles. But for the privilege, you're paying like quadruple the price of the new consoles or more. And that's just, it's just not worth it, For the money that you get, there's no way you can get a PC that outperforms these things. And that's saying something, because I remember when the Xbox One X launched, like Project Scorpio was announced, I went and put together a PC necessary to hit that level of graphical horsepower brand new. And it could be done for about the same price as an Xbox One X. That was where we were at a couple of years ago. And now it's to the point where I just don't, unless AMD's next version of GPUs are seriously inexpensive in comparison to what they have been, I just don't see that being possible for the PC side of things. So yeah, next-gen gaming is going to be really weird. The last thing, this was not actually a part of the PS5 reveal event, but is obviously directly related to PlayStation, so I'm just going to mention it really quick. The Last of Us Part 2, they've officially, we have a hard release date for this thing. It's June 19th, so it's coming out here in the next week. So those of you who are really looking forward to The Last of Us Part 2, there you go. It's coming.
Sweet. I know a lot of people really like that one.
Oh, yeah. Huge. I'd never played it, but yeah, I'm not actually that interested in it. It's a zombie game. I don't really do those. So the other thing that happened this week in gaming news that I would normally be covering is the PC Gaming Show actually aired earlier today. I thought it was going to be airing tomorrow, and so I wasn't paying attention to it. And I'm also coming off of vacation mode, and so I'm being kind of lazy. And instead of trying to catch up on the PC gaming news this afternoon, I sat down and watched Overwatch League. So at least I'm consistent. But we'll cover that in next week's podcast.
Yes, we will. We'll have lots of info for that. Because I was looking at some of those games that may have been announced. Wow.
Yeah. And gameplay trailers for stuff that we've only just seen announcement trailers for. And yeah, there's a lot.
Yes. And we'll get that covered. All right, Landon, I believe I heard a rumor that you might have some gaming news for us. Yeah.
Yes, I do. All right. So, because everyone's talking gaming right now, Google had to go and announce some new things and update some things with Stadia. One of which is Stadia is now available on all Android phones. Now, there's a catch. A lot of the phones are in experimental mode, so they may or may not work great on all Android phones, but it is technically available on all Android phones. Now, if you want the list of actually fully supported phones, Google does have that. I believe all of the OnePlus phones are now on that list. That has been updated for that. But again, all Android phones can run Stadia. I want to say as long as it's running Android 9, maybe 8. I can't remember for sure what version needs to be on. But anyways, pretty much any phone that you're going to have will probably run Stadia to an extent, which is nice. And along with that, they put new touch controls for playing on a smartphone. Now, in most cases, I'm going to say, nope, don't do that.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
Yeah, because, these type of games are made to be played with either a keyboard and mouse or a controller, so do that if you can. But I did see a screenshot of the touch controls on a smartphone, and it looked like if you were to take a gaming controller, like the Stadia controller, and just put all the buttons on the screen in relatively the place that they would be if they were in your hand. And that's kind of what it is. It doesn't look horrible. I'm sure it's I mean, obviously it's not going to be anywhere near like actually playing with a controller. But it's probably better than built-in touch controls that are in some games that I've seen, which are just awful. But again, if you have a controller in any type of controller that you can either plug in or use Bluetooth, do that.
Yeah. I've played games with that style of controls, like in emulators and that sort of thing. And it just, the adage holds true. And by adage, I mean the thing that I say repeatedly over and over and over again. Touchscreen controls are hellspawn and should be avoided like the literal devil. It's just what it is.
You are on one today, and I love it. Like, your descriptions have been awesome. Your analogies, you win this one on the show. This episode, man. You are spot on.
Wasn't aware it was a competition, but I'll be sure to bring my A game next week.
He's got 3 weeks of himself to make up for.
True.
That's true.
And he's definitely making it up. These are really good.
All right, some new things along with Stadia is you can now set the resolution on a per-device basis. So what you could do before in the Stadia app is you could set your resolution, and that would just be the resolution that you play on any device, which I kind of get why they would do that, but at the same time, that's annoying because, say, you're playing on your TV, that's a 4K TV, and you want to play with 4K 30 FPS, you could do that, but then that's also the resolution that you're going to have on your computer or your phone, and it may not work very well on those devices. Or if you primarily play on a computer that has a 1080p display and you want to have that as your default settings, then you randomly play on something else that has a higher resolution, it's not going to look as good. But now you can actually change it per device, and it will just be that way when you log onto that device. It'll just have it where you last were, and it works. So that's kind of nice. Also, right now, Google is giving a $10 discount on the next game purchase for any Pro members. I'm guessing this is kind of an incentive for people to upgrade to Pro, but also be able to buy more games, which is nice.
Yeah.
And along with that, pre-orders are now kind of a thing on Stadia. Now, if you go, and one game that they're highlighting with this is Destiny 2 Beyond Light, that expansion pack. That is, I want to say, coming in September, is what I read. That is going to be available to purchase, and you can purchase it now. It doesn't actually say pre-order anywhere on the Stadia app. I don't know why they're kind of shying away from that, but they apparently are. But it is available to purchase before release at the moment.
Yeah, probably they're avoiding that term because the vast majority of everybody in the games press tells their listeners and viewers to not actually pre-order stuff. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's all the updates that have come with Stadia so far this week.
That's great. Really good news. Well, there's not too much on Microsoft's side for gaming, so can't really say much. So, because they didn't really announce anything, no price. I was kind of hoping that they would do a sneaky little price thing after the PlayStation thing, but nope.
Yeah, well, PlayStation didn't announce a price, so
yeah,
we get the price chicken wars now. It's how it's gonna go.
I think Microsoft will be the first. I think they'll just come out and say it.
They probably will. I mean, that's how it went last time too, and then PlayStation undercut them by like $50 or something like that.
Yeah,
this is how it goes.
One's gonna be 500, one's gonna be 450. There you go.
Probably. No, that's probably exactly what it'll be.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you wait a year, they're going to be 400 and 350.
Yep.
And a black one will be available for the PlayStation.
And the black one will be
For
available.
$500.
And you'll be able to pre-order it with Horizon, whatever the Forbidden West. And anyways, that's the one I'll be getting. I've already got it all planned out.
At least you have a plan. That's good.
Microsoft doesn't.
They seem to be doing all right.
They organized everything inside of Teams, and it's got lost.
No, nobody got their notifications. That was the problem.
That's what it was. Wait a minute. We were supposed to announce that today?
Oh,
Dang
crap.
Anyways. All right, dear listener. We appreciate you listening to us this go around on this awesome gaming session, or gaming podcast session. If you'd like to get a hold of us or talk to us or have us talk about any kind of subject, you can get a hold of us on the social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, also our website at callingallplatforms.com. And if there's any videos or entertainment you'd like to look at while you're streaming YouTube, you can get a hold of us on our YouTube channel for any kind of fun little things that we do on streaming or little reviews that Caleb likes to do, whether it's games or old hardware.
Yeah.
But anyway, dear listener, thank you for listening and have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.